Hey guys, how's it going? RC Basher back again. Picked up a new to me Arrma Outcast 4S v2.5. This is the one with the center diff. I got it as a really good deal. Got it really cheap on eBay. It came with a smaller motor. I'm just not quite sure where it is right now. I think I put it back in here. It came with the 3665 2400 kV motor, but with no ESC. But what it did come with is the GPM hubs, the front and rear drive shafts, RPM mud flaps here as well, and it looks like the RPM arms front and rear on these. The taking the shell off, it's obviously been reinforced as well. This was all done when I got it. I've then got the M2C tower to tower chassis brace on there, and as you can see, I've taken the motor out. There's no ESC, there's no servo, so that's for me to decide now, but I figured as a really good start, I've got a really good base to work off here. I've also got the M2C spacers on there as well, and when this lands on the 4S backflips, it does feel really plush, so really pleased with the way that it's set up right now. I have checked the diffs. I've just taken things apart. Definitely version 2.5 as it's got the center diff, and that has been, well, that's got 20 million in there at the moment. Now what I'm looking to do now is fit a max 8 combo. I've had the max 10 previously, the 140 amp version. I had it in my MT10 when I had that, but I did get heat issues on that and I wasn't overly impressed with it. This might be a bit overkill for a 1/10 scale. It is 6S rated, but I'm hoping to just run this on 3 or 4S, gear it up slightly and just bash about with it and have some fun and see how that goes. There aren't too many videos or tutorials or kind of many people that are running the 4278 in the Outcast because the chassis is small. I've seen some people run it in the Kraton because the chassis is a little bit longer, but I want to give it a go, see what troubles we come across, if any, when we're fitting it. I know the motor is slight, well, it's a lot bigger than the 3665 motor, and it rests not too far off the chassis when we've got it fitted. My main concern here with fitting this motor is the center drive shaft, making sure that that still fits, making sure that that still runs and it's not touching on the bearing or anything like that. So we're going to give it a go, see what we're doing. Gearing wise, I'm going to whack a 20-tooth pinion on this with the stock center diff, which is a 56-tooth spur on that. So welcome to the build. Let's see how it goes. Once that's that in, I do have a Garage Life RC ESC mount coming. I'm still waiting for that, hasn't been delivered yet, so we're going to get as far as we can get. I'm going to fit the servo. I do have a GPM servo saver to fit that on. I just need to decide what servo I'm going to fit into that, and then I've got the 4S backflips to run on this as well. So welcome to the build. Okay, so first off, with the stock mount, you can't get the pinion on through the mount because the 22 just doesn't fit. So what we're going to have to try and do is put this across. I might have to play with the positions at times and just see how that works, but my gut is telling me to have it angled slightly like this, to then be able to get it as far away from that center brace as I need to. So I think we're going to go with something like this. I don't know if you can see that, but the mounting holes are lining up just about there, and then we're going to secure that in and see what happens. Obviously I can tweak it, but I need to be able to start somewhere to see if that fits in. So let's give that a go. These do have nice beefy 3mm hex screws in them as well. Just making sure that that lines up. There we go. And I stick that on the far corner And then obviously I just need to adjust to where the pinion will sit against the spur to make sure that my mesh is lined up correctly as well. Just want to make sure that it all meshes nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to drop that on. I'm not going to set anything for now. Just drop this in. Let's see where that sits. Okay, actually that doesn't seem too bad already. Seems to have a nice bit of play to that. Could run a bit tighter if I needed it to. So let's don't know if that's too tight now. I can just adjust it. What do we think? I think that seems about right to me. I could probably back that off slightly and have it lean up a little bit. It does need to slide, doesn't it? It's not the easiest adjustments to make on this, but let's go with that. I think I'm quite happy with that. There we go. Okay. Yep. I'm quite happy with that. We're going to see how that sits. As you can see, the size of that motor compared to where that mount kind of ends as well. So it is going to be a tight fit. Seems pretty straight up, the wires going up, maybe slightly at an angle once it's in. But what I do need to be able to do is set that grub screw. So we need the trusty Loctite on this. And let's get that opened up. Looks like there hasn't been any on that previously, which is great. Okay, that should be enough to get that on and get it secure. Okay, it's a D-shaped pinion, which is also great. Always prefer a D-shaped pinion. For me, it just feels like it's just a bit more secure. Okay, that feels nice and tight, snug there, plenty of clearance. Just drop that spur in, make sure, again, yeah, mesh is perfect. And that's got enough bite sitting right in the middle of that pinion. So it seems great. Next thing, let's try and get this in and see how it sits. Ah, yes, and the Max 8 that I'm going for, one thing I did do earlier is because for some reason all the Max 8s that I found come with these XT90 connectors. And my batteries don't run this because I've got the Kraton 6S just there, I've got the Outcast 8S, I've got an X-Max 8S, my Outcast is actually running 12S. So the first thing I did is chop those off. Still a beginner at soldering, but I now have, instead of two XT90s, I now have a nice single QS8 that's just been soldered in there, if you can see that. It's one of my better solder jobs and it seems quite snug and secure, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, getting on to this. Just on there, and we've got the 5 screws in place. I don't think there's anything else that keeps that in place. I think it just gets secured once it's in with the shunter drive shaft. So let's get those screws in place. There we go. Okay, motor's in, into the mount. Move this to the side. I should be able to click this into place. Still a new platform for me. Still learning the nuances about it. Let's just caught up. There we go. Okay. It seems to be in. Motor, I think that needs to just be secured. I think if we push this battery bit in place, okay, we've still got a bit of movement in there, but I think once that's all screwed in, it should be okay. I'm assuming there's a screw that goes in from the bottom. Yes, there is. So I've just got that screw.
Okay, now I think once we've screwed these in
From the side, that will work. Now the main test is to see, once we've got that center drive shaft in, how much room there is to that motor there. We've just got the screw in there as well. Okay, I think it goes this way. I'll get the bearing in, push this in. Yeah. Push that bearing out a little bit. Oh, it's trickier than it looks. Oh yeah. Oh, I think it's going to be a tight fit with that bearing. Oh, okay, I think it's in. Looks like that bearing is just resting against that screw, but there is still a bit of space between that and the motor. Let's see how freely that runs, or if there's any resistance on that as well. That seems quite nice. Need to figure out that ESC, but I'm assuming I want to try and get it in sideways here somewhere, so I've still got enough room for the servo just there. Tight squeeze in there, so we're going to figure it out. The other thing I know I need to do, again probably frowned upon, I need to remove this barrier. I need to just cut out, you can see I've marked up some white lines. I do need to cut the chassis there a little bit to give me a bit more room, because again what I didn't want to be doing with this is buying new batteries just to get that to fit. So again, I'm going to take this off, Dremel that out, see if I can get it flush, and then see if my batteries fit in. I do run the Gens Ace batteries, got 3S and 4S. I've got enough of them, and they're not cheap batteries, so I want to be able to have some reusability of my batteries. So I'm going to see how that works. You know, if I fudge it up, worst case scenario, I'm going to have to buy a new chassis, but hopefully that does it anyway, and let's see how we go. Okay, so now we've got a servo. I've got one of these GX 40 kilo ones. Specs seem to be okay. 40 kilos at 7.4 volts. My ESC is 8.4 volt capable on the BEC, as it's the Max 8 G2S. It's got the Bluetooth capability as well. Apparently it runs a little bit smoother, but who knows, you know, something that we'll test out and see how that runs. So now what I wanted to do is get the servo going. I'm just trying to make sure that, again, because this didn't come with a servo attached, I'm just making sure that I've got this in the right way. I'm assuming it doesn't go like that because I'll be backwards, so we're going to put it in like this. I could be wrong. I've got a GPM servo saver and horn, so that just kind of slots into there like that. There seems to be a bit of a gap. We'll put that in and see how that goes. Just get that in there. Okay. There we go. That seems solid in there right now. Happy with that. Okay, so the Garage Life RC mount turned up, and it's a great bit of kit. It's a two-piece mount. This goes on top of the receiver box, or essentially with the Kraton, it's not really meant to fit the Outcast. With the Kraton, it fits in the chassis because the chassis is that much longer, and the grooves in the chassis go into these parts, and it screws into the chassis there. The ESC goes onto here. There's a screw mounts for the ESC, sits on top. So essentially like that, and then that screws onto that with those four screw holes there, so that whenever you need to remove the ESC, you can remove it that way, and you still got the mount on the chassis. Now, because it's not meant for the Outcast, it means that I've had to modify it slightly, because as you can see, the holes are generally there because it's meant to be, I think, sitting that way, or this way actually, because there's a notch in the chassis. So what I've had to do is I've drilled two new holes and I've slightly countersunk them, because what I'm thinking of trying to do is mounting them on top of the receiver box. Now you can see how tight that is there against the servo, just a little 1 or 2 mil gap between the motor, and I'm going to try and fit it in that way. So I've got all my wires in place, and there we go. Just need to push that to the side, and then that will fit in there like that. And then the idea being, I mount the ESC, and then that sits on top like that, and I can mount it with the 4 screws. So that's what I've done. I've had to modify the Garage Life RC mount. I do have another one on the way that one of the forum members has really helped me out design for the Outcast, but we're going to try this for now, just a modified version of the original, and see how that goes. But what we're going to do is we're going to secure this to the mount first. Just need to make sure I get it in the right way, and then that's the 4 screws, 2 mil hex, and that should go in like that. Just need to get the first one through, and we are going to fit that there. So now what I should be able to do, if I've done this correctly and measured out the distance for the holes, is secure this down. Seems to have found a groove. Yep, that's in. Brilliant. Okay, that's gone down. That seems in. Let's do this one. Okay, so let's see. Yep, that's secure. That's not going anywhere. Turns out I've mounted that the wrong way. Now we should be good to go. Just set that up. Amazing. And that looks like it lines up. I've got 4 screws that I want to use for this. Just those ones there. Okay, there we go. So now I can tighten them up by hand. There we go. Nice. Not going to Loctite it yet. I'll give it a couple of bashes, see how they're performing, see if they are loosening or backing out. But wow, let's have a look at that. Talk about a good fit. You know, that seems to be on there quite securely. Very minimal play from that, but I think that's just because it's resting on the receiver box. So overall, I'm super pleased with that. I think that's super secure. It's definitely more secure than it would be having being held on by tape. So now I'll get all the wires connect up. Here's my single QS8, and then I'll find a place for this. I think for now I might just mount it, stick it on the side here like that, and just keep it there for now, and then I've got easy access to it. But yeah, let's get it all plugged in and see what it looks like. In the box with the Max 8, you do get a little sticker and a double-sided tape. You get one for the ESC, and you also get one for the on and off switch. So just stick that on there for now, even though it might be temporary, I might move it later. We'll just try this for now and see how it goes. There we go. Not the greatest. I think for now that's going to work just fine. Then that's secured right there, buttons are in, and I'm really pleased with that. I know that wire is sticking out, but the body shell for the Outcast is a lot wider than the body itself, so that wire is absolutely fine. You can see I can get a whole hand or my fingers within there, so that's absolutely fine, just dangling there for now. But for now, looks like she's ready to go. So stay tuned, like and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe, it helps support the channel and justify it to the missus that I'm spending a lot of time and money on my RCs. Okay, let's test this out. Oh, lands so nicely. It's got the M2C safe spaces on it. Just seems to have a lot of power, which is great. Get some good height on that. Oh. Seems to be quick enough. This is just on 3S. It is 4S capable, so just want to see how it's running on this, the efficiency wise. Yes. Yeah, performs really well, lands really plush. And it is a lot heavier than the stock one because it does have a lot of upgrades on it. The KCRC Ramp is just brilliant. Take it anywhere you want. Yes. Yes, there you go. There you go. There. It's out. Yes. Does backflip really well. Never tried a front flip. Maybe worth a try. Oh no. There's a lot of power in it still. Wheelies, there you go, look, just struggling with reverse. Nice. Yes. Great control in the air. Just do need to fix that reverse though. Nice. Nice. Okay, so we've been going for about 6 or 7 minutes now. Just want to check the temps on that. Okay, alright, so ESC is at 172, motor is at 118. Okay, so it seems to be getting hot. That's after 6 minutes. Hobby Wing confirmed that thermal kicks in at around 230. It doesn't feel that hot actually. Motor's definitely not hot. Those fans are doing a really good job keeping that cool actually. Nothing's really, batteries aren't warm, cables aren't warm, ESC seems to be doing okay actually. I think that update helped. The first time I did it, it wasn't quite running as well, where it just got really hot. Just wanted to do a test off camera, see how it performed. But I think with a bigger fan on that ESC, I might be able to get away with this 20-tooth pinion. There we go. Nice. This Max 8 system just seems to run so efficiently, so smooth. Should have maybe dabbed the brakes on that one. Footage, as Kevin would say. And again. What do you think, guys? Reduce the pinion, go 4S, or keep it on 3S on the 20-tooth, but maybe get a better fan on that ESC. Ooh. And it's just surviving, it's just taking a beating, isn't it? Okay, now the ESC is getting a bit hot. Motor's getting a little bit hot too. Check the temps. Okay, so we've been running for 15 minutes in 3S. Yep, 188, 140 for motor temp. So again, the motor doesn't feel that hot, but I've got a better fan that I can get onto that motor. An ESC 188. So I think, what do you think? Should we just reduce the pinion down to 17 from 20, or get a better fan on that and a 40mm fan on the motor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But first impressions, super impressed with this. You know, it performs really well. Has some really bad tumbles, as you saw. Seems to be fine, nothing broken. You know, it just seems to be performing really well, lands really well, great air control. Overall, just super impressed with the platform. Yeah, that motor combo is just a beast. I'm glad that I went with the 2250 kV motor in that. But yeah, still some tweaks to do. Looking forward to it. Like and subscribe, guys. Thanks for the support.